Start with the box.
What? The box was luxurious. Self-adjusting seats, ashtrays, drop tables for refreshments. They were above the congregation, less than 100 feet from the altar in front of them. The priest performing at the crowd, shuffling to music and shoving heavily muscled arms back and forth. Sometimes his strong bass voice joined the choir from time to time. Then he would lift it in exhortation. Up off your behind, gonna let the devil catch you napping.
Was dead. Then he squatted behind her. He perceived that she was breathing so shallowly, and that one could scarcely see she was breathing at all. But still, she was alive. The monk took the fox in the little temple and sat her down beside the brazier to warm herself. And the monk said a silent prayer to Buddha for the life of the fox.
For the life of the fox.
For she was a wild thing, thought the monk. But she had a good heart, and I would not see her die. He stroked the first off his thistle down and the weak beat of her heart. When I was a boy, said the monk, the unconscious fox before her father's disgrace, I would from time to time run away from home, from my nurse and from the teachers, and I would go to the market where they sold live animals. In bamboo cages, I saw all manner of beasts, foxes, dogs, and bears, small monkeys, pink-faced monkeys, hares, crocodiles, snakes and pigs and deers, herons and cranes and bear cubs. When I saw them, it made me happy. For I love the animals. But it also made me sad. For it hurt to see me, for me to see them in prison like that.
Stop that now. This is glass broken. Her voice quiet but dangerous. Oh, I'd like to put a diaper on that mouth of yours. Oh, gee whiz.
Gee whiz!
You're so funny. You're so funny. It just so happens, young man, that I consider your little sister in exactly the exact same light that I do before. I may be peculiar, but I don't happen to see her.
I made it peculiar!
I don't happen to see any comparison whatsoever between the Lord and a rundown old little college girl who's been reading too many religious books and all like that. You certainly know your sister as well as I do.
You know your sister!
She's terribly impressionable.
Terribly.
She always has been, and you know it very well. The bathroom was oddly still for a moment.
Oddly still for a moment? In music therapy group, one major theme is how members can get their own needs met while continuing to relate to each other in the group, in the caring, and giving away. If one constantly gives up one's needs, there will be the possibility of becoming out of touch with who one is. On the other hand, it's impossible. It's impossible. It's impossible.
impossible.
It's impossible to always have one's needs met in a relationship or group.
It's impossible to always have one's needs
To find a way to maintain the unity of the group and still work to one's own needs.
Yes,
Is a challenge for group members. The same challenge can apply to the groups and communities.
That's right, groups and communities.
Finding a harmonious balance of consonance and dissonance among the group members is a goal of the music therapy process.
The status of such urban legends as folklore is unquestionable, despite the common belief among tellers and listeners that they are truthful accounts, or at least are based on actual events. The amazing thing is that so few people seem to encounter enough variants of the story to question them, or if they do, they fail to perceive the multiple varying texts and oral tradition are good evidence against credibility. It is also surprising that few individuals, other than occasional folklorists, or journalists, become curious enough about the alleged first-hand sources of the story to follow the leads back a few steps to the inevitable dead end.
He's seen practicing, speaking with his mouth full. I eat, I sleep, and I work in this building by the grace of God. I am aware that if God wills it, my life will end. That's how I want. That's how it is for a living person. Except for the majority. They spend their time trying to ignore it. But if you want to live in what the authorities call a death trap, you're gonna constantly acknowledge that your life is cradled in the hands of God. That's a positive thing!
Shotgun. Mortimer already told me. What kind of music do you want to hear, Vince? I don't care if it's big country or Biggie Smalls, just don't be stopping and starting the damn tape, okay? How much longer? How about the Nazi song and Portishead mix? Oh, right. Well, the penny mix it is. No more of the Portishead for now. Whatever. Long enough, sure. About midnight, a taxi driver with a taco cab company includes South Korea received a telephone call from the municipal secretary asking for a cab. He picked up a young lady of 20 or so from the crematory and was told to drive to the hardware store of Mr. Shimo. Ayuki added, my grandmother was a very good friend of Mr. and Mrs. Shimo and told me that they replaced the incident. That they recalled the incident. When the cab arrived at Mr. Shimo's place, Meiji sweet girl told the driver she did not have the fare and asked him to wait until she could go into the store to the house to get it. Mr. Shimo had kept the store at the same location for years and was a respected citizen. The driver waited outside without any misgivings. The girl finally, the driver made my question knocked at the closed door. After repeated attempts to arouse somebody in the house, thinking that Mrs. Shimo showed up and asked the driver what he wanted. She seemed to know nothing about the girl's right. However, after the driver had described the young lady, Mrs. Shimo showed him a picture of her daughter on the wall. Her daughter had died a few days before, and her body had been sent to the scene. Same. Crematory. The driver recognized her immediately and became gravely ill.
Unlike the subject of electrodynamics, in which the brightest physicians in Europe were offering competing theories on the electron when Albert stepped in, gravitation was a wide field. Newton had written a book on it 2.5 centuries later, and the exception was almost tributary minutes describing the orbit of Mercury, and had nothing to argue about ever since until the relativity arrived on the scene to complicate things.
The legends belong to subclass of folkloric legends that, unlike fairy tales, are believable, and that, unlike myths, are set in the recent past and involve normal human beings rather than ancient gods or demigods. Legends are folk history, or rather, quasi-history. As with any folk legends, urban legends.